Use recommendations for ESN have been developed from over 800 crop years of independent research trials and are based on optimal growing conditions. In this lesson, you will learn the key use recommendations for corn, spring and winter wheat, potatoes, canola, and cotton. Every type of nitrogen fertilizer is applied and handled differently. A grower's specific conditions and goals should be considered to achieve best results. The following are general recommendations based on optimal growing conditions. Local conditions and growers' goals should be considered, and recommendations including ESN blends modified as needed. Wheat needs 30 to 40% of nitrogen by 5 to 6 leaf stage and 60 to 70% from the start of stem elongation to maturity. ESN may be applied either in the fall at seeding or in the early spring as a top dress depending on specific conditions. Growers will benefit from applying blends with other nitrogen fertilizers depending on geography. ESN provides benefits that include yield increases averaging 3 to 6 bushels per acre and up to 30 bushels per acre, the ability to apply up to 3 times the safe rate of urea in seed row nitrogen application, protein increases of 0.5 to 1.0%, and potential increases in the application window of up to 6 weeks. For fall applications in Western Canada and the Northern Plains, 50 to 100% ESN blends are recommended and may be applied pre-plant banded, pre-plant broadcast and incorporated, as a sideband application, or in seed row following suggested seed-safe nitrogen rates. Fall application is preferred in Western Canada and Northern Plains. In spring applications, ESN may be applied top-dressed on wheat as a blend with other soluble nitrogen sources such as urea or ammonium sulfate. A blend of 40 to 60% ESN is recommended for late winter, early spring applications prior to green-up, with a 20 to 40% blend of ESN after wheat has broken dormancy. For fall applications on winter wheat in the Central and Southern Plains, 100% ESN is recommended and may be applied pre-plant banded, pre-plant broadcast and incorporated, as a sideband application, or in seed row following suggested seed-safe nitrogen rates. Spring top-dress ESN applications are generally not recommended because of unreliable spring and early summer rainfall. ESN should be applied prior to wheat breaking dormancy in a blend with not more than 60% of the nitrogen from ESN. Fall applications of ESN on winter wheat in the northeastern United States and eastern Canada are not recommended. But, if applied, ESN should make up a high percentage of the recommended fall applied N and should be applied only when the soil is cool. Spring applications of ESN can be top-dressed on winter wheat as a blend with other soluble nitrogen sources, such as urea or ammonium sulfate. A blend of 70 to 90% ESN is recommended for late winter, early spring application prior to green-up, and a 50 to 75% blend of ESN is suitable for applications up to 5 leaves. ESN is not recommended after the 5-leaf stage. For fall applications in most eastern geographies, the majority of nitrogen should be applied as a spring top dress to prevent potential N losses over winter and early spring. Typically less than 1/3 of the total N need should be applied in the fall at seeding. For the portion of N applied in the fall, use ESN in a blend up to 50% of the total recommended fall N at planting to promote early tillering and continued plant health through the winter. If more than 1/3 of total nitrogen needs are applied in the fall, apply a blend comprised of 80 to 100% ESN late in the fall after soil temperatures are cool. For spring applications, ESN can be top-dressed on winter wheat as a blend with a soluble nitrogen source such as urea or ammonium sulfate. A blend supplying 75 to 100% of the spring N needs as ESN is recommended for late winter, early spring applications prior to green-up. A blend supplying 50 to 75% of the N as ESN is suitable for applications at green-up. For applications after green-up through the 5-leaf stage, use a blend comprised of 30 to 50% ESN. ESN is not recommended after the 5-leaf stage. ESN may be applied in high nitrogen loss environments of the Pacific Northwest. 100% ESN blends are acceptable in late fall when soils are cool. ESN can be top-dressed in the late winter or early spring on winter wheat as a blend with a soluble nitrogen source such as urea or ammonium sulfate. A blend supplying 75 to 100% of the spring N needs as ESN is recommended for late winter, early spring applications prior to green-up. A blend supplying 50 to 75% of the N as ESN is suitable for applications at green-up. For applications after green-up through the 5-leaf stage, use a blend comprised of 30 to 50% ESN. ESN is not recommended after the 5-leaf stage. For application of ESN in low nitrogen loss environments, blends of 50 to 100% ESN may be applied pre-plant banded, pre-plant broadcast and incorporated, as a sideband application, or in the seed row following seed-safe nitrogen rates. ESN may be applied on dormant wheat as a blend with a soluble N source such as urea and/or ammonium sulfate in spring applications. A blend of 50 to 70% ESN is suggested for late winter, early spring application. For later spring applications, a 40% ESN blend is suggested. ESN is not recommended after the 5-leaf stage. For dry areas with unreliable spring and early summer precipitation, ESN should not be left on the soil surface and is generally not recommended. These are general use application recommendations for spring wheat. All recommendations are based on optimal growing conditions with the incorporation of additional knowledge of local conditions, blends used, and grower goals to achieve best results. Wheat needs 30 to 40% of N by the 5 to 6 leaf stage, and 60 to 70% from the start of stem elongation to maturity. Apply ESN at or before seeding at about 50 to 75% of total N requirements, with the balance as a readily available N source. Post-emergent top dress applications of ESN on spring wheat may not release ESN rapidly enough to meet early N demand of the crop. ESN is not recommended on spring wheat after tillering. Spring wheat should follow recommendations for post-dormant spring top dress applications for winter wheat, using an appropriate blend of ESN and a soluble nitrogen source such as urea or ammonium sulfate. Where greater grain protein is desired, ESN has consistently produced superior protein than conventional N sources. For this objective, a greater proportion of N as ESN than the percentages described for blending may provide a greater protein advantage. When cooler weather conditions during vegetative growth are expected, lower percentages of ESN can be used in the nitrogen blend. In cold, dry climates, ESN may be applied in the fall for spring wheat. Where warm weather conditions exist during vegetative growth, higher percentages of ESN should be used in the nitrogen blend. ESN may be applied in direct seed contact at up to 3 times the safe rate of conventional N sources.